Evan Madigan. Batting 6, the second baseman from Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Number 6, Nick Carnavale. Batting 7, the designated hitter from Millstone Township, New Jersey. Number 17, Craig Sanford. Batting 8, the right fielder from Mentor, Ohio. Number 8, Sam Fuller. And batting 9, the center fielder from Newington, Connecticut. Number 3, Mike Piskers. Pitching for the Geneva Red Wings from Geneseo, for 35, Jameson Moran. And now, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field your Newark Pilots. Starting lineup for the Newark Pilots. Leading off playing second base from St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, number 12, Justin Graham. Batting second, the shortstop from Southfield, Michigan, number 22, Xavier Warren. Batting third, the first baseman from Tampa, Florida, number 31, Jared DeSantolo. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter from Jackson, New Jersey, number 16, Ty Babbitt. Batting fifth, the right fielder from Shawnee, Kansas, number 21, Griffin Robinson. Batting sixth, the catcher from Pembroke Pines, Florida. It's actually cold out here for him. Number 6, Alex Hernandez. Batting seventh, left fielder number 19 from Reynoldsburg, Ohio, Richard Phillips. Batting eighth, the third baseman from North Haven, Connecticut, number 1, Giovanni Torres. Batting ninth, the center fielder from Georgetown, Texas, number 2, Parker Tadlock. And the starting pitcher for your Newark Pilots, number 0 from Western New York, Ryan Marketel. Ladies and gentlemen, also introducing your mascots from the Geneva Red Wings, Sweetie Bear, and from your hometown Newark Pilots, let's welcome Ace. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise as we honor this great nation with the playing, or the singing rather, of the Star Spangled Banner. The Star Spangled Banner today will be sung by the 5th grade singers from Newark's Valley Shore.
We have to take our heads off.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's passing, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we walked, where
Hello, folks, and thanks for joining us here at Colburn Park as we get you set for some matinee baseball here today as the Geneva Red Wings come to town to take on the Newark Pilots. Kids Day here at the ballpark as plenty of kids wandering around as we get set for first pitch. It's Ryan Marketel who will be on the mound for the Pilots to get us going here as the Red Wings come into town sitting at 7-7 on the year. Pilots just picked up their third win of the year yesterday in a 10-1 win over the Elmira Pioneers. Moved them to 3-9 on the year as they try to put together their first win streak of the year. Marketel from Webster, New York, plays at Monroe Community College. Right-hander ready to go on the mound here today for the Pilots. As it'll be Brian Knapp leading things off for the Red Wings here in the top of the first from Redwood City, California. Plays at Pomona Pitzer. Connor McKenzie is behind the plate here. And Drew Iinski is out in the field. Those are your umpires for tonight, or today, actually. As it's a scorcher here today as we got the AC blaring up here in the press box, and we're ready to go. As Brian Knapp steps in, and we're ready to play some baseball. Alex Hernandez is behind the plate for the Pilots doing the catching duties. Torres is at third, Warren at short, Graham at second, and DeSantolo at first. Phillips, Tadlock, and Robinson are in the outfield for the Pilots. As first pitch is out here, Marketel misses in the dirt, and so Knapp looks at ball one as we're underway here in this matinee matchup here at Colburn Park. Knapp looks at strike one there from Marketel, so the count goes to 1-1. That one high from Marketel, and so it's ball two. Brian Knapp, as we mentioned, from Redwood City, California. Hits this one into left. Phillips tracking it, and he'll make the catch for out number one.
The third baseman, number 7, Jesse Hall.
Jesse Hall comes to the plate, hitting in the 2 spot for the Red Wings today. As a clean first out for Ryan Marketel there as Ricky Phillips, the left fielder, was able to make the catch. As McKenzie calls strike one on the inside part of the plate to Hall. Marketel, we've seen him in 2 games this year. He started 1, pitched 5 innings. As he gets an off-speeder to fall in there, and he's got Hall quickly behind in the count, 0-2. Jesse Hall from Tallahassee, Florida, plays at LB Wallace. Strike 3 on the outside part of the plate. Marketel picks up his first K of the afternoon, and there's quickly 2 retired. Ryan Marketel getting just the start he was looking for as he's allowed 3 runs, has 5 walks, and now his second strikeout as a Pilot. As it's the catcher, Zach Miller, who comes to the plate now for the Red Wings from Lincoln University, Pennsylvania. Plays his college ball at Delaware. As he tries to get something going for the Red Wings as there's 2 gone now in the top of the first. Marketel connects with another off-speeder on the inside part of the plate. So the count goes to 0-1. Marketel misses with that one, and so the count goes to 1-1 on Miller. Off speeder from Marketel connects, and so Miller is behind in the count, 1-2 now. Zach Miller hitting .300 on the year so far, has 6 hits and 20 at-bats, and has driven in 5 runs. 1-2 count here. This one fouled back right into the backstop, and so the count remains at 1-2 as Miller is able to fight that one off. Marketel, we saw him in his first start, didn't last very long and was finding a tough time getting around the strike zone. A much better job for him today so far as there's 2 gone here in the top of the first. And another 1-2 delivery coming from Marketel. That one hits the plate as Miller is able to lay off of it. And so the count goes to 2-2. As I'm sure we're going to pick up the screams of the kids when that first foul ball goes flying back into the bleachers. Waiting for that one. 2-2 count to Miller now. Marketel misses in the dirt again, and so the count will run full. As Zach Miller tries to get himself on here as there's 2 gone in the top of the first. Kids Day here at the ballpark as it's a matinee matchup between the Pilots and the Red Wings. Still scoreless early on in this one. This one chopped down the third baseman. Torrens is able to make the play over to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Marketel in the top of the first. Pilots will come to the bat for the first when we come back from Colburn Park. We head to the bottom of the first here at Colburn Park as it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Marketel in the top half, and so the Pilots will come to the plate for the first time. It's Jamison Moran who gets the start, the right-hander from Geneseo, plays at RIT. He'll get the start on the mound for the Geneva Red Wings here today, as in the field for the Red Wings. Third base will be at Hall, and Magadan at shortstop, Carnevale at second, and Nebraska at first. Knapp, Piskors, and Fuller in the outfield. And it's Zach Miller doing the catching duties behind plate for the Red Wings. It'll be Justin Graham who leads us off for the Pilots here today. Plays at St. John Fisher College. As he's ready to go here in the bottom half of the first. Still scoreless here at Colburn Park. As Moran is ready to go on the mound. Misses with this one inside, and so it's ball 1 to Justin Graham. That one catches the lower half of the plate, and the count goes to 1-1 on Graham now. Moran misses with this one high, and so the count goes to 2-1. Justin Graham hitting .229 so far on the year, has 8 hits and 35 at-bats. Takes a cut at this one and misses, and so the count runs even at 2-2 as he leads us off here in the bottom half of the first. Graham able to fight that one off as it's sent back into the crowd, and so the count will remain at 2-2. Justin Graham playing second today. Has been walked 9 times this year as he hits this one into right field, but pulled just a little bit, and it's going to be foul. It goes over the wall, and so some power behind that one from Justin Graham. But down the first baseline it would go and foul, and so the count remains at 2-2. As I just mentioned, Justin Graham, he's been walked 9 times. That is second on the team, only to Xavier Warren, who has been walked 10 times this year. As here's another 2-2 from Moran. Graham fouls another one off. This one down the third baseline this time. as Justin Graham is just fouling off pitches here, making Moran work for the first out of this inning. Justin Graham from St. Mary's, Pennsylvania. Holds off on one outside and away from Moran, and so the count runs full here as he's the leadoff man in the bottom half of the first. Still scoreless in this one between the Red Wings and the Pilots. Gets out of the way of that one, and he'll get the free pass down to first. A good at-bat for Justin Graham as he fouled off 3 consecutive pitches before drawing the walk. And so Moran walks the leadoff man here in the bottom half of the first. And it's Xavier Warren, the shortstop, batting in the second spot for the Pilots here today. And he looks at strike one on the inside part of the plate from Moran. Xavier Warren plays at Central Michigan from Southfield, Michigan. As Moran takes a peek down to first at Justin Graham, but he's back in plenty of time. Xavier Warren, as we just mentioned, he's been walked a team-leading 10 times this year. Runners going. Justin Graham trying to get down to second. He'll be there. A late throw from Zach Miller was a little inaccurate, and so Justin Graham steals a base and gets himself into scoring position. For Justin Graham, his 4th stolen base of the year. He now leads the team in that department. Still none gone here in the bottom half of the first. Moran misses with one high, and so the count goes to 2-1 on Xavier Warren. As it'll be the first baseman, Jared DeSantolo, who will come to the plate next for the Pilots. Warren takes a crack at this one and fouls it off, and so the count runs even at 2-2. Warren has seen his bat come to life here in the last couple of games as he's now batting .289 on the year, has 11 hits and 38 at-bats, has driven in 6 runs. He's got Justin Graham over there on second. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss is kind of an awkward swing there from Xavier Warren, and so Moran gets his first strikeout of the afternoon. And now there's one gone as Jared DeSantolo comes to the plate. Big strikeout there for Moran. As DeSantolo hitting .250, has played 4 games with the Pilots since coming from Florida Atlantic after their season concluded. He has 4 hits and 16 at-bats, has driven in a single run, has struck out 3 times this year so far. As Moran backed off the mound there to take a peek over at Justin Graham, as there's one gone now here in the bottom half of the first. DeSantolo will look at ball one outside as we're still scoreless, looking for the first hit in this game at Colburn Park as Graham was able to draw a leadoff walk to get us going in the bottom half of the first. DeSantolo takes a swing at that one and fouls it off, and so the count goes to 1-1. DeSantolo from Tampa, Florida. As we mentioned, plays at Florida Atlantic. And we've seen him down at first base since joining the team. And he's ready to go with the 1-1. Moran will step off again. As we mentioned, Moran plays at RIT this past year at a .481 ERA, was 2-3 in 9 appearances, started 7 of those, and pitched 39 1/3 innings for the Tigers. DeSantolo fouls another one off, so he's behind in the count, 1-2 now. As Moran looks to retire the second out of the inning. Trying to keep Justin Graham over there on second after he walked him to lead us off in the bottom of the first. Still scoreless here at Colburn Park, as it's the right-hander Jamison Moran on the mound today for the Red Wings. And Moran is keeping close tabs on Justin Graham over there at second after he was able to steal. It was his 4th stolen base of the year, and it got him into scoring position. DeSantolo ready with the 1-2. It's low, though, as Zach Miller is able to keep it in front of him. And so the count goes to 2-2. Moran gave up 33 hits this past year, 21 earned runs with RIT. And another peek over. That one was close that time. Iinski says Graham was back there in time, and so he remains at second, but it was the second baseman, Carnevale, who came over there that time. And so the count remains at 2-2. Off speeder misses outside, and so the count runs full. 3-2 count to Jared DeSantolo now. Moran ready with the payoff pitch. This one to the first baseman, Nebraska. The underhand play, and he bobbles it, and that's going to bring in a run. And Justin Graham will come home to score, and DeSantolo makes his way to second. And kind of an awkward play by Nick Nebraska there, as I think he was in between if he wanted to throw that one overhand or underhand. He chose to go underhand, and it was in the dirt. And it's going to be an E3 charge to Nick Nebraska over there at first. And it's 1-0 Pilots now. DeSantolo gets on to second with the error from Nick Nebraska, and Justin Graham comes around to score. And it's 1-0 Newark here in the bottom half of the first. We saw the Pilots get off to a roaring start yesterday in Elmira as they tacked on 4 runs in the top of the first at Dunfield. And they're in business here. Ty Babin sends one to left. Jesse Hall chasing after it, and he can't make the play. As that was a over-the-shoulder attempt by Jesse Hall, and that was a tough one for him to try and make. And so Ty Babin will remain at the plate as he's doing the designated hitting duties today for Newark. DeSantolo over there at second after the error, as Moran is ready to go. Moran misses with this one outside, and so the count goes to 1-1. Babin hitting 300 in 3 games for the Pilots so far this year. We've seen him do some of the catching duties here for the Pilots in the early going, as he has 10 at-bats and 3 hits, has driven in 3 runs. It's a 2-1 count to him. Babin sends one to center field, but it's high in the air. Underneath it is the shortstop, Magadan, and he's able to make the play. And so there's 2 retired here in the bottom half of the first. Pilots have gotten 1 run, and they lead 1-0 in this one. It's the right fielder, Griffin Robinson, who stands in for the Pilots now, as DeSantolo is held at second after the flyout from Ty Babin. Griffin Robinson from Shawnee, Kansas, plays at St. Louis. Another one of those players that came over late here as he chops one into right field. Will it fall? Yes, it will. And it's going to bring DeSantolo around to score. That one right on the first baseline, but Griffin Robinson gets himself an RBI single, and the Pilots take a 2-0 lead.
The catcher, number 6, Alex Hernandez.
Griffin Robinson, a good swing there as he was able to send it right where he wanted to into opposite field, and Jared DeSantolo easily came around to score. And It's the second run of the inning for the Pilots, and they're up 2-0. It's the first hit of the afternoon for the Pilots as Graham came around to score on an error from Nick Nebraska. And so Griffin Robinson is able to notch the first hit of the afternoon for either squad. As Alex Hernandez, the catcher, stands in, and he fouls this one back. And he has himself a 1-1 count. Alex Hernandez hitting .303, has 10 hits and 9 RBIs. We saw him in the win over the Red Wings, the first of the year for the Pilots. The runner's going. It's Griffin Robinson. The throw down to second. The tag is in time. Good throw by Zach Miller to get Griffin Robinson trying to steal, and so that'll do it in the bottom half of the first. Pilots strand one, but get two, and it's 2-0 Newark as we head to the top of the second here at Colburn Park.
Leading off the second inning for the Red Wings, first baseman number 31, Nick Nebraska.
Well, folks, Dan Cooter here as we welcome you back to Colburn Park, ready to go in the top half of the second. Pilots get two in the bottom half of the first, and so they lead 2-0. It was a 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Marketel in the top of the first, and so he's back on the mound, the right-hander from Webster, New York. Ready to go as Nick Nebraska stands in, an off-speeder flown out in the air. And Parker Tadlock, the center fielder, is underneath it. And so Ryan Marketel off to a strong start in this one, and he's retired the first 4 batters. It's Nick Magadan, the shortstop for the Red Wings, who comes to the plate now. Evan Magadan hitting .207. Has 6 hits and 29 at-bats. Has driven in 4 runs for the Red Wings so far this year. As we've seen that a couple times from Ryan Marketel, just a little jumpy there, and that one doesn't get to the plate as it catches the dirt. And so the count goes to 2-0 on Magadan. Magadan sends this one to first, and it gets by DeSantolo and into the outfield. And so it's a 1-out base hit for Evan Magadan here in the top half of the second.
The second baseman, number 6, Nick Carnevale, number 6.
Nick Carnevale comes to the plate for the Red Wings. We saw him when we were in Geneva. He had the walk-off in the bottom half of the 10th in extra innings there, as the Red Wings came back to defeat the Pilots 6-5 in that one early on in the year. So Marketel gives up his first hit of the afternoon, and the Red Wings have their first base runner. Evan Magadan, the shortstop, is down on first. It's Nick Carnavelli at the plate from Lyndhurst, New Jersey, plays at Brookdale. Carnavelli hitting .294, 34 at bats with 10 hits on the year so far for the Red Wings. Driven 2 runs. Marcel ready to go with the 1-1. Off speeder and down to Torres. Could be a double play ball, but first they don't get him though. So there's two gone now. Magadan started in second. Carnavelli on first. Good choice. Good pitch there by Marcel. It's an off speeder. Caught Carnavelli by surprise a little bit there. And grounded down to Giovanni Torres in third. The third baseman today for the Pilots. They make the play over second. And there's 2 retired here. Top half of the second. Pilot. This one 2-0. This one's chopped into center. It's going to be a base hit. As Carnavelli will hold up in second. That was Craig Stanford, DH for the Red Wings today. Taking a swing at his first pitch there. And he gets a base hit into second. So with 2 gone, there's 2 men on for the Red Wings. Second hit of the afternoon now for the Red Wings. Sam Fuller, the right fielder from Mentor, Ohio, comes to the plate now. Plays at St. Bonaventure. As he's got a runner in scoring position, it's Nick Carnavelli. He's out in front of that one. As Marcatel gets a swing and a miss from Fuller there, and he's behind in the count 0-1. Sam Fuller hitting 200 as he has 5 hits and 25 at-bats so far for Geneva. He pops this one up high in the air. Underneath it is Justin Graham. He calls for it, and he'll make the catch. And so the Red Wings remain scoreless here as the Pilots lead in this one 2-0. I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. We'll be back for the bottom half of the second when we come back from Kids Day here at Colburn Park. Welcome back to Colburn Park. I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. It's the Pilots up 2-0 in this one as we head to the bottom half of the second. It's Alec Hernandez back at the plate after Griffin Robinson was picked off to end the first. And he first pitch swings at this one and hits it into left and has himself a base hit to lead us off in the bottom half of the second. Good swing there by Alex Hernandez. And so it's Ricky Phillips who comes to the plate, the left fielder. And Jamison Moran back on the mound for the Red Wings, the right-hander from Geneseo, New York. Gives up a leadoff single there to Hernandez, and so he has to watch him over at first as it's Ricky Phillips at the plate from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He takes a swing at this one and hits it into right, and they're getting after Moran here to begin the bottom half of the second. Hernandez is going to push for third, and he's easily in there. And so there's runners at the corners now with none gone here in the bottom half of the second as Phillips likes what he saw there on the first pitch from Moran. It's only been 2 pitches from Moran here in the bottom half of the second, but it's 2 hits for the Pilots. And they have men at the corners now, as it's Giovanni Torres who comes to the plate. Torres, the third baseman today for the Pilots from North Haven, Connecticut, plays at Bates. He hits this one to short, and it's going to get through. Phillips is going to push for 3. Hernandez will come home to score, and Torres has himself an RBI single. And it's only been 3 pitches for Moran here, but it's 3 hits for the Pilots, and they're up 3-0 in this one now.
The center fielder, number 2, Parker Tadlock.
Heat of the moment there. That one was actually to second base, but regardless, an opposite field hit there by Giovanni Torres brings in another run, and it extends the Pilots' lead to 3-0 here in the early going of this one, as there's still none gone in the bottom half of the second. Still runners at the corners for the Pilots, as Torres is over at first now after he picks up the RBI. So the first pitch of the inning that the Pilots batters don't like, as it's an inside ball on Parker Tadlock, the center fielder. Parker Tadlock sends one down to third. The play over to first, and it's a double play, but Phillips comes around to score. And the Pilots extend their lead to 4-0 now.
The second baseman, number 12, Justin Brown.
So it's a ground out for Tadlock, but he picks up an RBI. And the Pilots go up 4-0 now. Graham fouls this one up. It's in foul territory, but Hall has a play on it, and he will retire the final out of the inning. So the Pilots tack on 2 more and take a 4-0 lead as we head to the top of the third from here at Colburn Park. Kids Day here at Colburn Park as we welcome you back in. I'm Dan Cooter here on NewarkPilots.tv. It's the Pilots up 4-0 as we head to the top half of the third. Ryan Marketell, the right-hander from Webster, New York, plays at Monroe Community College. She's been strong on the mound in 2 innings of work so far. He gave up 2 hits in that top half of the second, but was able to get himself out of the inning unscathed. And so his team was able to tack on 2 more, and they lead 4-0 now. It's Mike Piscors at the bottom of the order for the Red Wings from Newington, Connecticut, who stands in, plays at Tampa University. As he's out there in center field today for the Red Wings. He takes a crack at this one and fouls it off a line drive over the heads of the kids, and there's about 20 of them going after that foul ball. As the count goes to 1-1 on Piscors. 1-1. Checking his swing as Piscores, but he gets a piece of it and fouls it off, and so he's behind in the count, 1-2 now, as he's the leadoff man here in the top half of the third. It's Kids Day here at Colburn Park, and it's a scorcher. 1-2 delivery from Marketel. Off speeder fought off by Piscores and fouled right into the Pilots' dugout as Colbert throws it back to his pitcher. And the count remains at 1-2. Piscores hitting .400. We've seen him in 4 games this year. He's only had 5 at-bats, but has 2 hits as he draws into the lineup today for Geneva. Piscores hits this one to center, and he's going to have himself a leadoff base hit. Good at-bat there by Mike Piscores as he got behind in the count, but was able to fight off one and then drives one to center from Ryan Marketel, and so it's a leadoff single for Piscores to get us going here in the top half of the third. Red Wings head to the top of the order as Knapp comes back to the plate. He's 0 for 1 in the afternoon. As the Red Wings down 4-0 in this one, try to get their selves back into this one. Brian Knapp hitting .205, has 39 at-bats and 8 hits, has driven in 5 runs. So he looks at strike 1 from Marketel, and so the count goes to 1-1. Brian Knapp in left field today for the Red Wings from Redwood City, California, plays at Pomona Pitzer. That's a tongue twister. Count is 2-1 to Knapp here as Piscores is down on first at the leadoff single. Marketel misses away on that one, and so it's a hitter's count for Knapp at 3-1. With the Piscores single, it's Marketel's 3rd hit he's given up in this one. In the top of the third, Knapp takes a crack at this one. Torres is tracking it in foul territory, but it's going to escape too far out of his reach, and so the count goes to 3-2 after the foul ball. As we mentioned, the Pilots able to pick up a much-needed victory at Dunn Field in Elmira yesterday, as they got the 10-1 win over their Western Division rival, as they try to start their first win streak of the year, as they sit at 3-9. Here's the payoff pitch from Marketel, and it's fouled off by Knapp, and so the count remains full. Geneva, they started strong off in the year. They cooled off a bit as they sit at .500, 7-7 on the year. They had a doubleheader yesterday against Utica. They went 1-1 in that. As Marketel is ready with another payoff pitch. Knapp swing and a miss, and it's a K for Ryan Marketel. As there's one gone now here in the top of the third, as Piscores is still over at first. Marketel's 2nd K of the afternoon. Jesse Hall, he was the other strikeout victim. As he went down, he takes a swing at this one and hits it down the third baseline, but foul. Jesse Hall hitting .206 on the year for the Red Wings. Has come across a team leading 11 times to score for the Red Wings, has 7 hits and 34 at-bats. That's a whiff as Marketel fooled him on that one, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. As Piscores is still on first on his leadoff single. Hall, another strikeout for him, and it's 2 straight for Marketel, and a big grin from him, as there's 2 gone now here in the top half of the third.
The catcher, number 18, Zach Miller.
Ryan Marketel seems to have his stuff here this afternoon as he records his 3rd strikeout. And it's the catcher, Zach Miller, who comes back to the plate. He's 0 for 1. off speeder in front of that one and hit into the bullpen as the mascot Ace gets out of the way of that one. Pilots up in this one 4-0 as they've scored a pair of runs in both the innings. As we're in the top of the third, there's 2 gone as Zach Miller is at the plate for the Geneva Red Wings. That one misses high, and so the count goes to 1-1. Ryan Marketzel, the right-hander, plays at Monroe Community College. He's on the mound today for the Pilots. Off speeder hit to opposite field by Miller, tracking it back as Robinson at the wall, and it'll bounce off. Coming around is Piscors. The throw home. Hernandez, the tag. Got him! The relay's good, and Piscors is out at home, and the Pilots still lead 4-0 as we head to the bottom half of the third here at Colburn Park. A beautiful throw there by Justin Graham to get Mike Piscors at home plate as Alex Hernandez was able to apply the tag in time. As Warren cracks this one right to Nick Nebraska, and there's quickly 1 gone. Here in the bottom half of the third as your Pilots leading 4-0 in this one over the Geneva Red Wings. Jamison Moran is back on the mound as he starts his 3rd inning of work. He's given up 4 hits and 4 runs in this one. It's Jared DeSantolo back at the plate. DeSantolo 0 for 1, but he was able to reach on an error and came around to score. He hits this one into center, tracking it back, and Mike Piscors is able to make the play, and there's 2 retired now here in the bottom half of the third.
The first baseman, correction, the designated hitter.
As we were talking about there, in the top half of the third, it was a beautiful relay by Griffin Robinson to get it into the second baseman, Justin Graham. And an accurate throw right where Hernandez wants it. And he had Piscors by a good 1.5 steps on that one. As Connor McKenzie ruled Piscors out at home. And it kept the Red Wings off the board in this one. The DH Ty Babin at the plate. He looks at strike 1 on the outside corner from Moran. As Moran tries to work his first scoreless inning of the day. He quickly has Babin in an 0-2 hole after the big swing and a miss. Babin, he's 0 for 1 on the day. As it'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters due up for the Red Wings when we head to the top half of the fourth. 4 hits apiece in this one at Colburn Park, but it's the Pilots up 4-0 in this one. 1 error by the Red Wings. Babin holds off on 1 low, and it moves the count to 2-2. Babin fouls that one off, and it catches Miller. A stinger on that one, but he's able to shake it off. As the count remains at 2-2, as there's 2 gone here in the bottom of the third. Babin hits this one far into right. Tracking it back is Fuller. See ya! Ty Babin gets himself a solo home run, and it extends the Pilots' lead to 5-0. They were saying see ya up here in the press box as that one was heading out. As Sam Fuller, all he could do was look back and watch it sail, and so Ty Babin is the first Pilot to hit a home run besides Alan Murphy this year. And it's the 4th of the year for the Pilots as the bats are alive here at Colburn Park as they lead 5-0. Ty Babin, he came around on that one from Jamison Moran. And I think the wind had a little thing to do with that as it carried it right out of this ballpark into right field. As that wind is blowing left to right, it looks like, here at Colburn Park today. As Griffin Robinson is at the plate, he's in an 0-2 hole here. As it looked like Jamison Moran was going to get himself a quick 1-2-3 inning, but Ty Babin had something to say about that as he shot one into right, and it's a solo home run for him. Robinson looks at one, and he strikes out to end the inning here. But it's Ty Babin who gets himself a solo home run, and the Pilots extend their lead to 5-0. As I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV, we head to the top of the fourth when we come back. Five nothing Pilots as we welcome you back here to Colburn Park. I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. We thank you for joining us here for this matinee matchup between the Pilots and the Red Wings. As Ryan Marketzel, the right-hander, is back on the mound for his 4th inning of work. He's given up 4 hits in this one, but no earned runs. As he's gotten some help from his batters here today, and they lead 5-0 after the Ty Babin solo shot to right was the only run picked up in the 3rd inning. It's Nick Nebraska at the plate for the Red Wings, as he is 0 for 1. Leads the team in hits with 16, batting .432, and has batted in 6 runs for Geneva this year. As he looks at strike 2 from Marketzel, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Nebraska from Du Bois, Pennsylvania, plays at Youngstown State. The first baseman for the Red Wings here today. That one's high at the head of Nebraska, as he was able to watch that one sail by. And so the count goes to 1-2 on him now. This is the first strong start we've seen from Ryan Marketzel this year, as he's looked good. Just misses with the off-speeder on that one. And it moves the count to 2-2. Marketzel was looking for his 4th K of the afternoon. And it's going to be a walk. A leadoff walk here for Nick Nebraska, as he gets the free pass down to first. And so it looked like Marketzel had his 4th K of the afternoon, but it turns into a leadoff walk. And so Nick Nebraska is aboard to get us going here in the top of the 4th. It's the shortstop, Evan Magadan, who comes back to the plate. He had the first hit of the afternoon for Geneva, as he is 1 for 1. Magadan from Point Pleasant, New Jersey, plays at Bucknell. Batting .207 on the year. Magadan hits this one to the shortstop, Warren. It could be a double play ball. The play over to first, and they get him. So it's a 6-4-3 double play. And there's quickly 2 gone now, as Marketzel gets some help from his infield. As the Pilots are able to turn 2, and it's Nick Carnevale who comes back to the plate. Carnevale looks at strike 1 from Ryan Marketzel. Carnevale from Lyndhurst, New Jersey, plays at Brookdale. As we mentioned, he had that dagger against the Pilots, as he takes a swing at that one and misses, and he's quickly behind 0-2. He had that walk-off grounder in the win, as he chops this one down the first baseline, as he fought that one off, and the count remains at 0-2. Marketzel trying to end the inning right here with the 0-2. Swung over the shortstop's head of Warren, and it's bobbled by Tadlock, and it's going to allow Carnevale to get this second. As Parker Tadlock couldn't handle that one in center, and it squeaked through him and allowed Carnevale to get around to second, and it'll turn into a double for him as Carnevale picks up his first hit of the afternoon. The DH Sanford comes to the plate. He's 1 for 1. Sanford hits this one high in the air on the first pitch, tracking it down as DeSantolo. Oh, and it just gets over the fence, as he couldn't make a play on it. And so it's a charge strike to Sanford. In case you're just joining us here at Colburn Park on this matinee matchup between the Red Wings and the Pilots, it's Newark up 5-0 in this one, as Ty Babin just hit a solo shot in the bottom of the 3rd to extend the Pilots' lead. The 0-1 is in the dirt from Marketzel. Hernandez does a good job to keep it in front of him, as the count goes to 1-1 on Sanford. Carnevale over at second as Marketzel delivers another one low. And there's 2 balls and 1 strike to the DH Sanford now. Craig Sanford from Millstone Township, New Jersey, plays at Hamilton. His brother, we saw on the mound the last time the Red Wings were here at Colburn Park. So he takes the swing at this one. Down to the second baseman, Graham. An easy play for him over to first. And so the Red Wings leave one stranded and trail 5-0 in this one as we head to the bottom of the fourth here at Colburn Park.
Number 6, Alex Hernandez.
We welcome you back to Kids Day here at Colburn Park as the Pilots putting on a good show so far in this one as they lead 5-0 as Alex Hernandez leads us off in the bottom half of the fourth. As Jamison Moran is still on the mound, he's given up 5 hits and 5 runs. As he hasn't gotten any help from his batters yet as they trail 5-0. Hernandez is 1 for 1. He came around to score his first time up. Plays at Nova Southeastern as he does the catching duties here today for the Pilots. Big cut from Hernandez as he misses on this one, and he's quickly behind 0-2. That one looked to catch the corner, but McKenzie says not this time, and so the count goes to 1-2 on Alex Hernandez. Hernandez from Pembroke Pines, Florida, takes a chop at this one and fouls it off, and so the count remains at 1-2. Hernandez, as we mentioned, had that big 5 RBI game the last time the Red Wings were here at Colburn Park as he lays off of one high and tight, so the count goes to 2-2. Hernandez chops one up the middle, and he's got himself a base hit. And he moves to 2-2 on the day. Hernandez now with 12 hits on the year. Second on the team, only to Dawson Bailey.
Richard Phillips, number 19. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been told that Wolf and Ace, the mascot.
Ricky Phillips, he's been strong at the plate since coming back from that concussion he sustained when we were in Geneva here against the Red Wings. He had another hit his first time up, as he's got 4 in the year now. Bottom half of the fourth. Pilots lead in this one 5-0. They've gotten runs in all 3 of the innings so far. Phillips can't hold off on that one high. And so it's 1 ball and 1 strike to the left fielder from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He, along with Hernandez, came around to score as well. As the right-hander, Jamison Moran, plays at RIT, is still on the mound for the Red Wings. Off-speeder, fouled off by Phillips. And Moran gets ahead of the count 1-2. Jamison Moran, as we mentioned, had a 4.81 ERA last year. He really enjoyed a breakout year his sophomore season on the mound for RIT, as he was 6-0 and had 1 save in 12 appearances for the Tigers. He led the team with a 1.79 ERA, as he had 56 strikeouts and just walked 12 guys. And 55 1/3 innings of work for him. As the 2-2 count to Phillips. Phillips calls time and backs out, as Moran floated one in there as he saw Phillips backing out of the zone. And so it's a 2-2 count to Phillips still, as there's none gone. Alex Hernandez is still over at first. Moran not paying much attention to him, as that one misses high, and the count will run full, and Zach Miller will come out to have a talk with Moran. As Phillips will jog over to talk with head coach Matt Colbert as well. And we talk about Moran and that successful year he had in 2017. Things a little bit different for him this past year. As we mentioned, a 4.81 ERA, and was 2 for 3 in 9 appearances. Started 7 of those and saw his innings pitch go down significantly. As we mentioned, 55 1/3 his sophomore year. His junior year, only 39 1/3 innings. Phillips flies one out into center as Piscors is underneath it. And he's able to make the catch for the first out. And so Alex Hernandez will hang on there at first as Giovanni Torres comes back to the plate. 1 for 1, had an RBI his first time up. One gone now here in the bottom half of the fourth, as the Pilots lead 5-0 in this one. As Giovanni Torres, as we mentioned, his first bat at the plate. Plays at Bates College. As he looks at strike one from Jamison Moran. Torres, the third baseman from North Haven, Connecticut. As Moran takes a peek down to first, as the temperature is only getting hotter here at Colburn Park. Upwards of 95 degrees here. Players fighting through it, though. As Torres looks at one high sight, gets out of the way of that one, and the count goes to 1-1 on him. Kind of a blessing as we get to play this one early. Is some rain coming through the area later today, and we've already seen a couple of games rained out for the Pilots this year. As Moran gets an off-speeder to fall in the zone, and so he gets ahead in the count 1-2 with one gone. Hernandez is still over at first. You're in the bottom of the fourth. Torres can't check his swing on that one, and Moran gets himself a K, and there's two gone now. Moran's third strikeout as Parker Tadlock, the center fielder, comes back to the plate. Tadlock from Georgetown, Texas, plays at Angelo State. Batting in the bottom of the order for the Pilots here today. Hernandez is still over there at first after he had the leadoff single. Tadlock looks at strike one there from Moran. Parker Tadlock hitting .313, has 10 hits and 32 at-bats and 4 RBIs. The speedster also has 4 stolen bases. Off-speeder. Looked like that one caught the inside part of the plate, but my eyes were wrong, and so the count goes to 1-1 on Parker Tadlock. Tadlock takes a swing at that one, hits it right into the backstop, and so Moran, who we've seen get ahead of a couple of the counts here in this inning, is ahead 1-2 on Tadlock. Parker Tadlock, as we mentioned, goes to Angelo State. We've seen the right-hander Trent Baker, who also goes to Angelo State, on the mound a couple times this year for the Pilots, as he was able to pick up the win in Adirondack, as the Pilots were able to defeat the Trailblazers. We'll see Adirondack here next week when they come to Colburn Park, making the trip from Boonville, New York. As Tadlock is a 2-2 count. Hits this one into right. Oh, and a snag there by the second baseman, Carnevale, and that'll do it for the fourth. So the Pilots strand one and lead 5-0 still as we head to the top of the fifth here at Colburn Park. I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. Sam Fuller will lead things off for the Red Wings as they try to put their rally caps on. Down 5-0 to the Pilots in this one. Newark with 6 hits. Red Wings with 5, but they haven't been able to bring anyone across to score. As Ryan Marketel, the right-hander, is still on the mound for the Pilots. Fuller puts down the bunt. Hernandez throws down the helmet, makes the play to first, and a good one by Alex Hernandez. As Sam Fuller tried to get sneaky there. As that one did make it far off a home plate, and Hernandez was able to make the play down to first, and so there's one retired here in the top of the fifth now. Red Wings doing whatever they feel is needed to try and get base runners here. As it's the bottom of the order, and Mike Piscourse, he was thrown out at home his last time up after he had his single to center. A great throw by the second baseman, Justin Graham, to get him out at home. As Marketel is able to toss in strike one, as the count goes to 1-1 on Piscourse. Plays at Tampa University from Newington, Connecticut. Marketel misses with that one outside, and so it's 2 balls and 1 strike. As the Red Wings will turn over the order after Piscourse. Big cut and a miss there from Piscourse, and the count goes 2-2. We saw the Red Wings down 5-0 when we were at McDonough Park in Geneva before the Red Wings came back to win an extra inning, so don't count them out of this one by any means yet. As we've seen the Pilots have their fair share of struggles in the bullpen this year. As that one misses inside from Marketel, and it runs the count full. Ryan Marketel with a good outing for him so far. As we mentioned, no earned runs have come across for Geneva. He's given up 5 hits, but his infield has helped him out a lot. Piscourse fouls this one high in the air, but it's going to exit the playing field. And so the count will remain full on him. As we welcome you back here, Dan Cooter at Colburn Park. Kids Day here at the ballpark, an afternoon affair, the first we've seen this year from Colburn Park in the afternoon. Off speeder from Marketel catches the strike zone, and it's 2 outs now as Marketel gets himself another strikeout.
The left fielder, number 14, Brian Knapp.
Piskor's caught looking at the off speeder that catches the inside corner. He couldn't believe it. But there's 2 gone now here in the top of the 5th as Marketel looks for a 1-2-3 inning as Knapp, the leadoff man here today for the Red Wings, is 0 for 2. He struck out his last time up. Hits this one into left, and Phillips tracking it, and he's not going to be able to make a play on it. And so it falls for a 2-out single as Jesse Hall comes to the plate now.
Number 7, Jesse Hall.
Good opposite field hit there by Brian Knapp to get himself aboard. With 2 gone in the top of the 5th, Red Wings trail in this one 5-0. Jesse Hall 0 for 2 has a pair of strikeouts. First pitch swinging at this one into center. Tadlock is tracking it, and he's able to make the play. And so the Red Wings stranded yet another runner and trail in this one 5-0 as we head to the bottom half of the 5th here at Colburn Park.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains, through the prairies, through the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Newark's own Reds, ladies and gentlemen. Nice job, Reds. Fifth inning. Second baseman for 12, Justin Brown.
Top of the order for the Pilots as we head to the bottom of the 5th. I'm Dan Cooter here at Colburn Park on NewarkPilots.tv. It's the Pilots up 5-0 in this one. 6 hits apiece and 1 error apiece. But the Pilots have been able to get their runs in, unlike the Red Wings, as Graham sends one down the first baseline. Tough play on the bunt, and he's going to be safe, as he does the same thing that Sam Fuller tried to do for the Red Wings in the top half of the 5th, but Graham gets himself on, unlike Fuller, and so Justin Graham bunts himself on here to lead off the bottom half of the 5th as Xavier Warren comes to the plate now. Graham will pick up a hit on the play, as that was a tough a play there for Moran, the pitcher, as he was the first one to get to it on the third baseline. And so Justin Graham is aboard. Xavier Warren, the shortstop today for the Pilots, is 0 for 2. He struck out his first time up. So we haven't seen any runs put on by either team since Ty Babin had a solo home run to right in the bottom half of the third that extended the Pilots' lead to 5-0. It's a 1-1 count to Warren as Justin Graham is down on first after he was able to bunt himself on here to lead off the bottom half of the fifth. Runner's going. Graham slides in and it hits him, and he's going to be safe as the throw was a little wild from Zach Miller. And so it's another stolen base for Justin Graham, his second of the game and fifth of the season. Kind of a luxury for Matt Colbert when you can have someone like Justin Graham that can bunt himself on and then steal the second and quickly get himself into scoring position. As Warren fights that one off to stay in the count as it's 1-2. That one right into the backstop. Justin Graham, as we mentioned, plays at St. John Fisher. No Alan Murphy today, but we've seen 3 home runs from him in the last couple of games for the Pilots as he's been strong at the plate. Ty Babin picked up a home run as Warren sends this one down to the third baseman. Retreating is Graham as Warren will ground out for the first out of the inning.
The first baseman, number 31, Jared DeSantolo.
As I was saying, Ty Babin, we mentioned earlier, he's the first Pilot to hit a home run this year besides Alan Murphy. It's the 4th of the year, and they've come in bunches now for the Pilots, as it was just on Thursday that Alan Murphy hit the first home run of the year for the Pilots in Adirondack, and the bats have come alive now for the Pilots in the last couple of games as they won 10-1 yesterday against Elmira and lead 5-0 in this one as they have 7 hits through 4 1/3 innings played here at Colburn Park. DeSantolo fouls this one off. Hall is tracking it, but he can't make it. The speedy third baseman just a step behind it, and so it's strike 1 to DeSantolo. DeSantolo 0 for 2 on the day, but was able to reach on an error his first time up, and they came around to score. As there's one gone in the bottom of the fifth, Justin Graham is over at second after the stolen base. Moran keeping tabs on him as he takes a peek and backs off the mound, and will do it all over again. DeSantolo looks at one in the dirt. DeSantolo from Tampa, Florida, plays at Florida Atlantic. Down there at first base today for the Pilots. The throw down to second. That one was close, but Graham's back in time as the second baseman, Carnevale, trying to apply the tag. Could not in time, though, as Graham was able to slide back in. Counts 1-1 with one gone to DeSantolo. This one cracked into center. The speedy Graham is going to come around third. Going to be no throw, and another run comes across home plate for the Pilots. DeSantolo an RBI single, and the Pilots lead 6-0 now.
Number 16, Ty Babin.
And it's Ty Babin, the lefty, who sent one into right field for a solo shot his last time up. And I'm sure Moran is aware of that, as we'll see how much longer he lasts in this one, as he's given up 6 runs on 8 hits in this one now, after Justin Graham came across to score for his second time of the day. One thing we haven't seen this year is a pickoff play from a pitcher here at Colburn Park. Down to first there as Moran took a peek at DeSantolo, and he'll do the same here again. With Babin at the plate, there's still one gone. as the Pilots tack on another run. Ty Babin, who we've seen do the catching duties a couple times this year for the Pilots from Jackson, New Jersey, plays at Campbell. Takes a cut and misses at this one, so he's in an 0-2 hole. As it'll be the right fielder, Griffin Robinson, due up next for the Pilots. As Jamison Moran tries to record the second out of the inning, he's got Ty Babin in an 0-2 hole here. Moran steps off again and will reset. As Moran is ready to go now. Babin swings and misses at that one, and it's a strikeout for Moran, and there's 2 gone now.
The right fielder, number 21, Griffin Robinson.
Griffin Robinson, he got caught looking for a strikeout by Moran his last time up. As DeSantolo is still down there on first. Fifth strikeout of the afternoon for Moran as Robinson takes strike 1 from Moran here. As there's 2 gone here in the bottom half of the 5th. Pilots get another run back. They lead 6-0 in this one over the Red Wings. Robinson takes a cut at one in the dirt, and he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. As he looks to avoid his second strikeout of the afternoon. Robinson going to have to get defensive here at the plate as it's an 0-2 count to him with 2 gone. DeSantolo on first. Robinson fires one down to the Newark dugout as the players jump out of the way of that one, as that dugout is not big enough to hold all those guys down there as they're hanging over the fence, and they ducked out of the way of that one. And so the count remains at 0-2 to the Shawnee, Kansas resident, Griffin Robinson. Holds off on one outside, and so the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. As Moran, I would expect this is his last inning to work as he has an 0-2 count. Robinson is swinging a miss, and he'll strike out again. And so that'll do it here in the bottom of the 5th. Pilots tack on 1 more, and they lead 6-0 as we head to the top of the 6th. I'm Dan Cooter here at Colburn Park. Dan Cooter here as we welcome you back to Colburn Park. Start of the 6th inning, as it's the catcher Zach Miller who will lead things off for the Red Wings. They trail 6-0 as Ryan Marketel, the right-hander, back on the mound for the Pilots. Tosses in strike one as he's allowed 6 hits and no earned runs in this one so far. Miller 1 for 2, had a single his last time up. As Miller pops one up. Tough play here for Graham. They come together, and Griffin Robinson, the right fielder, is able to make the play. A little miscommunication there between the second baseman, Graham, and the right fielder, Robinson, but they talk it over, and the play is made, and so the leadoff man is retired as Marketel can take a sigh of relief, as it looked like his 2 fielders were going to collide there for a second. But it's the big man, the first baseman, Nick Lebraska, who comes back to the plate. Nick Lebraska, as we mentioned, leads the team in hits as he sends this one up to center field and has himself a base hit. Takes a crack at the first pitch and liked what he saw and sends it right into center. And he's aboard with 1 gone now. Nick Lebraska, as we mentioned, had 16 hits coming into this one. Now has 17, and that leads the team. As it's the shortstop, Evan Magadan, who comes back to the plate. Magadan hits one to left, and he's got himself a base hit right into the gap. Tadlock and Phillips there. Tadlock will make the throw. Lebraska will hold off. Here it's thrown to second. They don't get him. He's safe. That one was very close. Magadan's in with a double, and there's men on second and third. First time we've really seen the Red Wings threaten with runs here, as there's 2 men in scoring position here in the top of the 6th. Also, the first real trouble we've seen Marketel work himself into. There's 1 gone. And Nick Carnevale comes to the plate. He's 1 for 2. Had a hit his last time up. Chops at this one down to the third baseman, Torres. Torres will have to make the play over to first. He's out, but Lebraska will come across to score. And so it's an RBI for Carnevale. And the Red Wings are on the board as it's 6-1 Pilots now.
The designated hitter, number 17, Craig Sanford.
The DH, Craig Sanford, comes to the plate as Magadan is on second still after Lebraska came across to score. Carnevale was called out at first. I think Marketel is okay with that play, as you have to imagine with only 1 out. Not a bad play to get the ground out down to first, as only 1 run comes across to score. One count here to Sanford. Marketel gets Sanford to follow that one back, and he's in a 1-2 hole as there's 2 gone. Red Wings have gotten 1 back. It's a 6-1 Pilots lead here in the top of the 6th. The right-hander Marketel still in the mound for the Pilots as he's had a strong day. Only giving up 1 earned run. Pitch from Marketel misses outside on Sanford. Marketel ready to go again. Fouled off by Sanford. Phillips tracking it, but he's not going to be able to make the play. So the count remains at 1-2 as Sanford is able to foul off another one to stay alive. Marketel ready with another delivery. It's fouled off again by Sanford as he's making Marketel work for this final out here in the top of the 6th. Marketel ready to go with another 1-2 again. It's in the dirt, and it's going to allow Magadan to get down to third on the wild pitch from Ryan Marketel. And so the count goes to 2-2 on Sanford. as Magadan gets down to third now. Action in that Red Wings bullpen, as I would assume Moran is done for the day, and probably Marketel as well after this inning, if he can get out of it. As he walks Sanford, and Matt Colbert's making a mound visit here. As there's runners at the corners with 2 gone. It's a 6-1 Pilots lead. There's 8 hits apiece in this one. Pilots have 2 errors, and the Red Wings have 1. As the Pilots look for their first win streak of the year after defeating the Pioneers yesterday in Elmira 10-1. 3-9 on the year. The Pilots. Geneva sits at 7-7. Both these teams in the West Division chasing the Jamestown Jammers, who are off to a dominant start in the West Division as they are 11-2. Colbert will exit the mound, and Marketel will continue as he'll try to get himself out of the inning here in the top of the 6th. As the Red Wings have men at the corners with 2 gone. Red Wings have picked up their first run of the game in this inning as the first baseman, Nick Lebraska, came across to score after the ground out by Nick Carnevale. He was able to pick up the RBI on the play. Off speeder by Marketel, misses in the dirt. Good play by Hernandez to keep it in front of him, and it keeps the runners at bay. Marketel into the windup. That one misses high and tight. So the count goes to 2-0. I would suspect if Marketel walks another batter here, it might be the end of the day for him. But he would love to get out of the 6th inning here. Only giving up that 1 run. Misses again inside on Sam Fuller. And only the 2nd walk of the day for Marketel after he walked the DH Craig Sanford. He'll try to throw a strike here. That one low in the strike zone, but McKenzie gives him the benefit of the doubt on that one. And it's a hitter's count to Fuller at 3-1 now. Marketel ready to go with the 3-1. Hit into the short and right to Warren. And so Marketel only gives up 1 and keeps it a 6-1 game as the Pilots lead. Headed to the bottom of the 6th. I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. Welcome you back in here, Dan Cooter at Colburn Park, as the Pilots up 6-1. They come up to bat here in the bottom of the 6th, and it's the catcher Alex Hernandez, who is 2 for 2 on the day, leads us off in the bottom half of the 6th. New pitcher, the right-hander Chase Gearing for the Red Wings, plays at Saginaw. And he's ready to go on the mound for the Red Wings. 2 quick balls there to Alex Hernandez. Chase Gearing, Saginaw Valley State, to be more specific, is where Gearing pitches, as he misses with 3 straight balls inside. So it's a 3-0 count to Alex Hernandez. Gearing able to get one to fall there for strike 1. So it's a 3-1 count to Hernandez to get us going here in the bottom half of the 6th. Kids' Day here at Colburn Park, a matinee affair between the Red Wings and the Pilots, as Hernandez fouls one off, and it pushes the count full. Gearing trying to come back after giving up the 3 straight balls. After coming in relief of Jamison Moran, who goes 5 innings, and he gets a strikeout here on Hernandez to get us going in the bottom of the 6th. The leadoff man is retired.
The left fielder, number 19, Richard Phillips.
And it's Ricky Phillips, the left fielder, 1 for 2, came across to score his first time up. Batting in the 7th spot for the Pilots here today. Gearing tosses an off-speeder in at the knees of Phillips as he jumps out of the way of that one. It's ball 1 to him. Phillips plays at Notre Dame College from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. Chase Gearing from Madison Heights, Michigan, the pitcher for the Red Wings now. Able to toss in a strike there, and so the count goes to 2-1 on Phillips. That one inside. Phillips held up. Didn't like the pitch, but it catches the inside corner. So the count is at 2-2 on Ricky Phillips with 1 gone here in the bottom of the 6th. Off speeder in there, and Phillips gets caught looking. So 2 strikeouts for Gearing after coming in relief, and there's 2 gone now. Phillips hugging that plate pretty hard, and the off-speeder was in there on the hands as Ricky Phillips, the left fielder, gets caught looking at that one. And it's Giovanni Torres who comes to the plate. He's 1 for 2 as an RBI as he struck out his last time up. Gearing able to toss in strike 1 there as he's looked strong. Facing his 2 batters, he's struck both of them out since taking over for Jamison Moran. Big cut from Torres as he's quickly in an 0-2 hole. Bottom of the order for the Red Wings when they come back up. It'll be Mike Piscourse who leads us off at the top of the 7th. The 0-2 here to Torres, off speeder by Gearing, misses high, and so it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the third baseman, Giovanni Torres. That went high as Torres lays off, and the count runs even at 2-2. Pilots will be home again here on Thursday when the Pioneers come to town. 7:05 first pitch at Colburn Park. Torres grounds this one down to Magadan, and it goes right underneath his glove. And that'll be an E6 charge to Evan Magadan and allows Torres to get on with 2 gone here in the bottom half of the 6th. Second error of the day charged to the Red Wings.
The center fielder, number 2, Parker Tadlock.
I think Magadan was expecting the bounce, and it just never came as it stayed on the ground there in the dirt. It skipped right underneath his glove. So Torres catches a break and gets himself on first. Parker Tadlock, the bottom of the order for the Pilots. The center fielder now up, and he cracks one down the third baseline, and that'll be a base hit for Parker Tadlock, as it was outside the reach glove of Jesse Hall, the third baseman for the Red Wings. And Parker Tadlock is aboard, and moves Torres in scoring position. The Pilots turn over the order. It's Justin Graham. He's 1 for 2. Has come across to score twice for the Pilots. Has 2 stolen bases as well in this one. Tadlock picks up this inning of the afternoon. Slaps one right to second baseman Connor Bailey. Easily tosses over to first. So the stranded for the Pilots here in the bottom half of the 6th. Still 6-1. Newark, Geneva. We had that inning over Carter.
The top of the 7th inning, the center fielder, number 3, Mike Piskers.
Pilots lead 6-1 as we head to the top of the 7th. It's the bottom of the order for the Red Wings, as it's Mike Piskors who will lead off. And a new pitcher on the mound for the Pilots after Ryan Marketel goes 6 innings and gives up 8 hits and 1 earned run, and is in line for the win as his team leads 6-1. Zach Mann, the right-hander from Union, Kentucky, on the mound for the Pilots now as he tosses in ball 1. We've seen Mann in 4 games. He's pitched 11 2/3 innings for the Pilots. He's given up 7 hits and 7 earned runs. The big problem we've seen with Zach Mann is his command at times, as he's tossed 15 walks in his 4 appearances. That leads the Pilots in pitching by far. It's a 2-1 count here. 3-1 now as it misses in the dirt. And Mike Piskors ahead in the count at 3-1. So he leads us off here in the top half of the 7th. Man, that one just on the inside corner as Piskors took a step down to first, but it moves the count full. Zach Mann is ready with the payoff pitch, but time called by Piskors, and so we'll have to wait on that. As Piskors 1 for 2 on the day, struck out his last time up. Piskors sends one into center. Tadlock is underneath it, and he makes the easy catch for out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. Red Wings head to the top of the order. It's Brian Knapp. He's 1 for 3. Had a hit his last time up, has struck out today as well. As we mentioned, Marketel gave up 8 hits, but he got a couple of good double plays from his infield. Red Wings had 1 called out at home. And they only have 1 run to show for 8 hits, as the Pilots have gotten only 1 more at 9, but they have 6 runs that have come across home plate. And calculates out to a 6-1 lead. Knapp chops one down to the second baseman, Graham. He makes the play over to first, and there's 2 retired now. After the soft dribbler finds Justin Graham at second, he's able to make the play. So it's the third baseman, Jesse Hall, who strides back in. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts to his name. As man misses with one outside, and it's ball 1 to Hall. Jesse Hall from Tallahassee, Florida, plays at LB Wallace. Looks at a strike on the inside part of the plate, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him now. Man, an off speeder. That one a little inside. And moves the count to 2-1 as there's 2 gone here in the top half of the 7th. Man able to retire his 2 first batters with ease. Man misses with one in the dirt, and so it's another 3-1 count. We saw him work himself out of a 3-1 count just a moment ago after he got piss course to ground out. He misses with that one inside, though, and so Zach Mann walks his first batter. His 16th walk of the year now.
The catcher, number 18, Zach Miller.
A 2-out walk brings the catcher, Zach Miller, back to the plate. Miller, 1 for 2, had a hit his last time up. Hall down on first after the 2-out walk. As it's 6-1 Pilots here in the top of the 7th. Zach Mann plays at Chattanooga State from Union, Kentucky. As we mentioned, we've seen him in 4 games this year. Has 7 strikeouts in those. It was 0 for 1 as he picked up a loss in one of those 4 games he was in. Tosses in ball 1 on Zach Miller. Throw down to Hernandez. Did they get him? Oh, that one looked close. Hall back in the nick of time as I think the throw was in time. Just DeSantolo could not get the tag applied as Hall was able to avoid it. Good throw there by Alex Hernandez trying to get the final out of the inning here in the top of the 7th. But it's a 1-1 count to Zach Miller now. Hall, I'm sure he'll be a little more careful over there at first now. As we get time here. Fourth time through the order for the Red Wings here as we get time once again with a 1-1 count to Miller. 6-1 ball game. Pilots lead in this one. Jesse Hall is down on first, the third baseman for the Red Wings. Off speeder from Mann. Another throw down. Did they get him? No. It's just the tag is not there in time. The throw is. As it seems as though Hall is just kind of slipping his way around that tag. As that one looked like it for sure had him. As Hernandez has been pretty accurate with those throws down to first. Count is 1-2 to Zach Miller now. Man trying to get the final out of the inning. Off speeder sent high into the air by Miller. Tracking it is Phillips. Moving underneath it. The diving play, and he bobbles it and misses it. Tough play for Ricky Phillips as he never really could find the ball just the way he wanted to and couldn't get underneath it.
The first baseman, number 31, Nick Labraska.
Just looked kind of an awkward play for Ricky Phillips on left field there, and he bobbles it and it falls to the ground. And it allows the runner Jesse Hall to get down to third It'll be an E7 charge to Ricky Phillips. And so no hit will go to Zach Miller. But there's men at the corners for the Red Wings now, as there's still 2 gone here in the top of the 7th. Nick Lebraska, the first baseman, is back at the plate. He's the only runner that has come across to score today for the Red Wings. He is 1 for 2. Had a hit his last time up. As we mentioned, his team leading 17th hit of the year for Geneva. He chops this one down to the second baseman, Graham. The play over to first to DeSantolo. And so the Red Wings strand a pair, and they're still down 6-1 as we head to the bottom half of the 7th. I'm Dan Cooter here at Colburn Park.
Leading off the bottom of the 7th for the Pilots, the shortstop, number 22, Xavier Warren.
Xavier Warren leads us off in the bottom half of the 7th as the Pilots lead this one 6-1. It's the right-hander Chase Gearing who's back on the mound for the Red Wings, his 2nd inning of work after taking over for Moran. We've seen Gearing in 3 games for the Red Wings, has pitched 6 innings. And has given up 5 hits and 2 earned runs. Gearing had 7 strikeouts coming into this one, has tacked on a pair of strikeouts in this one as well, bumping it up to 9 on the year for him. Just like what we saw when he came in the bottom half of the 6th, he gives up 3 straight balls to begin the inning. Misses with that one, so it's ball 4, and Warren, 4 straight balls to him, and he gets the free pass down to first to lead us off in the bottom half of the 7th.
The first baseman, number 31, Jared DeSantolo.
Jared DeSantolo comes back to the plate now. DeSantolo, 1 for 3, had an RBI his last time up. He pops this one up. It's going to head into foul territory, though. And so it'll be strike 1 to him. Pilots trying to tack on a couple more insurance runs. Haven't scored since the bottom of the 5th. As they lead in this one 6-1. Chase Gearing into the stretch. Misses with that one outside. So the count goes to 1-1 on DeSantolo. DeSantolo plays at Florida Atlantic. Takes a crack at this one, and it'll find a gap into right. Warren will come around to third. There's no throw, and so there's men at the corners with none gone now. as DeSantolo has his second single of the game.
The designated hitter, number 16, Ty Babbitt.
DeSantolo moves Warren over to third, and it's Ty Babbitt back at the plate. He struck out his last time up, had a solo home run his second time up, as it was a shot into right field that put the Pilots up 5-0 at the time. Ty Babbitt's first home run as a Pilot. As he gets his first look at Chase Gearing here today. Gearing's able to get that one to touch the outside part of the plate, so it's strike one to Ty Babbitt. Babbitt hitting 300 in just 3 games played so far for the Pilots. As that home run was his 4th hit of the year. This one chopped down the first baseline, but sent into the Pilots' dugout. And so Babbitt in an 0-2 hole here. As with the solo home run, it was Babbitt's 4th RBI of the year. He'll try to stay alive as he is an 0-2 hole with runners at the corners and none gone here in the bottom of the 7th. Babbitt sends one down the first baseline, but just foul with that one. So the count remains at 0-2. A correction on that Pilots home game. It is a double header that the Pilots will have when the Pioneers come to town after that rained out game we had early on in the year. They'll play 2 here on Thursday at Coburn Park. Babbitt sends a 3rd straight foul ball down that right side and stays alive and keeps the count at 0-2, making Gearing work for that final strike and the first out of the inning. DeSantolo's base hit sends the Pilots into double digits in the hit counter as they're up to 10 now. That wind helping out here as it's a toasty one here at Coburn Park today. As Babbitt fights off the off-speeder for a 4th straight foul ball. Still an 0-2 count as Gearing has been tossing in strikes to Babbitt. Babbitt just hasn't been able to get enough wood on it to send him into play. As anything into the outfield will bring Warren around to score. Gearing ready to go. Runners going. DeSantolo easily into second with no throw for Miller. And there's runners at second and third now. In case you're just joining us, I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. Newark got off and running early in this one as they got a pair of runs in the first 2 innings, added 1 in the 3rd, and are now up 6-1. 1-2 to Babbitt, misses upstairs, and so the count is at even now as Gearing having to work for this out against Ty Babbitt. He's been strong at the plate in this at-bat. And when in the dirt, did Babbitt hold up? And no, he did not. And so he's going to be called out on the strikeout. Babbitt, a slight disagreement there, but he gingerly makes his way to the dugout. And there's 1 gone now as Griffin Robinson comes back to the plate. He struck out his last 2 times up after a single brought in a run his first time up. DeSantolo at second, Warren at third as there's 1 gone now in the bottom half of the 7th. Robinson looks at an off-speeder that catches the zone, and so it's strike 1 to him. Griffin Robinson out there in right field today. We've seen him in 3 games making his way over to the Pilots. As 2 hits and 7 at-bats. He's looking to bring in his first RBIs as a Pilot as he's got Warren over there at third. That one's in there from Gearing. So the count is at 2-1, or 1-2, excuse me. One misses low, and so the count goes even 2-2 now on Griffin Robinson. There's still one gone here in the bottom half of the seventh. Pilots trying to tack onto that 6-1 lead. Griffin Robinson able to fight that one off and sends it foul. So the count remains at 2-2. I don't hear any more kids. It was a hot one. We had to take off. Robinson able to lay off of that one as it was low from Chase Gearing, and so the count is full now. Gearing ready with the payoff pitch. Robinson fights it off and sends it foul right into the same spot he sent the other one foul. And Gearing will have to toss another full count delivery to Griffin Robinson. Gearing ready to go into the windup. Misses inside, and he walks the bases loaded now. As Robinson gets the free pass, and there's still one gone. Alex Hernandez, more than capable of bringing in a couple of runs, as he's 2 for 3 on the day. Has come across to score once today for the Pilots. Struck out his last time up. Jared DeSantolo is still over there at second. Xavier Warren is at third. As Hernandez pops one up high in the air. Underneath it is the first baseman, Nebraska, in foul territory, and he's able to record the second out of the inning. So it's a quick at-bat for Alex Hernandez as he flies out into foul. And Ricky Phillips comes to the plate now. He's 1 for 3, struck out his last time up as well. Pilots trying to add on to that 6-1 lead as the bases are loaded here in the bottom of the seventh. There's 2 gone now. As Phillips looks at strike 1 from Chase Gearing, the Saginaw Valley State pitcher, trying to get himself out of the jam. Phillips flies one into center. Underneath it is Piscors, and he'll record the at, so a good pitch display there from Chase Gearing to get himself out of the inning unscathed. Pilots leave the bases loaded. Still 6-1 as we head to the top of the 8th. I'm Dan Cooter here on Newark Pilots TV. Pilots 6 outs away now from getting their second straight victory. As they lead 6-1, Zach Mann, the right-hander from Union, Kentucky, is back on the mound for his second inning of work after taking over for Ryan Marketel. Magadan sends one down to the shortstop, Warren. The play over to first, and the leadoff man is retired here in the top half of the eighth.
Number 6, Nick Carnevale.
Pilots have been able to get away with 3 errors in this one, as the Red Wings have 2. Red Wings with 8 hits in this one, Pilots with 10, and they lead 6-1. There's one gone here in the top of the eighth. Carnevale sends one right up to the pitcher. Tough play here for Graham. Did he get him? No, he did not. That one caught Zach Mann off guard as Carnevale sent it down on a little grounder, and Justin Graham, a tough play for him. It'll be a hit for Carnevale, and he's aboard with 1 gone here in the top of the eighth. Carnevale now 2 for 4 on the day, has an RBI. The DH, Craig Sanford, was walked his last time up. He's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. The DH today for Geneva. Runners going. The throw down from Hernandez. The tag, and Warren couldn't hang on to the ball. So Nick Carnevale has himself a stolen base, and he's in scoring position over at second. Tough sledding here for the Red Wings today. As I mentioned, 9 hits on the board with only 1 run to show for it, as they try to rally here, as they have 5 outs left to do it. So we're in the top of the eighth, 1 gone. Hernandez and Zach Mann will have a chat, as the Pilots bullpen will try to close this one out and secure their 4th win of the year. The first time it would be back-to-back wins for the Pilots this year. It would drop the Red Wings to 7-8. They're not able to rally in this one. As Mann tosses in strike 2 in the outside corner, and Sanford is behind in the count, 1-2. Big pitch here for Zach Mann as he tries to record the second out of the inning. Man ready to go. Swing and a miss from Sanford, and he gets the strikeout. And there's 2 gone now. Big strikeout for Zach Mann.
Number 8, Sam Fuller.
Nick Carnevale still down there on second, as Sam Fuller comes back to the plate for Mentor, Ohio. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Good time to get a hit and try to bring in another run for the Red Wings, as there's 2 gone in the top of the eighth. They're down 6-1 in this one, as the Pilots got a pair in both of the first 2 innings, another one in the bottom of the 3rd, and then added another one in the 5th. Red Wings were able to get one back in the 6th, but they still trail in this one by 5. This one fouled off by Fuller, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him now. Drew Iinski will call time here as Zach Mann asking for a new ball there out on the mound. As we mentioned, Pilots back here at Colburn Park again on Thursday. It'll be a double header against the Elmira Pioneers. First pitch for the first game will be at 5:05, and then the second game about a half hour after that first one will end. So we'll have plenty of baseball for you here at Colburn Park on Thursday. Some doubleheader action. Fuller chops one down the first baseline. Tough play for DeSantolo, but he's able to make it look easy. And that'll do it. So the Pilots keep their 6-1 lead. A good inning for Zach Mann as we head to the bottom of the eighth. As the Pilots look to extend that lead, they lead 6-1 here at Colburn Park.
Leading off the bottom half of the 8th inning for the Newark Pilots, the third baseman, number 1, Giovanni Torres.
Dan Cooter back here at Colburn Park late into this one now. It's the bottom of the 8th. Giovanni Torres will lead things off as his Pilots lead 6-1 in this one. New pitcher for the Red Wings, right-hander Mark Bobko. We saw him at McDonough Park when these two teams faced off for the first time this year. Bobko making his third appearance of the year. As he's pitched 4 2/3 innings, has given up 6 earned runs and 6 hits in those 2 appearances so far, has 2 strikeouts, and has given up 5 walks for Geneva. So he'll see if he can contain the Pilots' bats and give the Red Wings a chance, as they'll have to get 5 or more when we head to the top of the 9th. As Torres looks at strike 1, and he has a 1-1 count to Bobko, as he leads things off here in the bottom half of the 8th. It'll be the 9-1-2 hitters for the Red Wings when they come back up to bat in the 9th, as Torres fouls one off down the first baseline. Some action over there in the Pilots bullpen. Can't exactly see who it is, but I would assume we got someone coming in to try and close this one out for the Pilots and get themselves back-to-back victories. Bobko ahead of the count 1-2, as Torres is the leadoff man. Torres is able to fight that one off on the outside part of the plate, as it's fouled off right into the backstop, and so the count remains at 1-2. I believe that's the righty John Tyler getting warmed over there for the Pilots, as Torres is ready for another 1-2 delivery from Mark Bobko. Off speeder, high and out of the zone, and Torres is able to lay off of it, and so the count runs even at 2-2 on Torres. Mark Bobko, the righty from Metuchen, New Jersey, plays at Bloomsburg. Stands at 6'0", 190 on the mound. Ready with the 2-2 offering to Torres. Swing and a miss from Torres, and Bobko gets a strikeout to retire the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 8th.
Center fielder, number 2, Parker Tadlock.
As we mentioned earlier, both of these teams in the West Division trying to chase down the Jamestown Jammers, who have jumped out to a sizable lead in that division. As they are 11-2 for the early going of this year. Elmira also struggling mightily this year. They lost 10-1 yesterday to this Pilots team. Bobko tosses in a side armor there as it misses low, and so it's ball 1 to the center fielder, Parker Tadlock. Tadlock 1 for 3 at the plate today. As Bobko misses with a fastball low. It's 2 balls to Tadlock now. Tadlock in his first appearance grounded out, but picked up an RBI in the doing. As he sends this one into left, and it's going to fall for a base hit. A 1-out base hit for Parker Tadlock. His hit has him aboard here in the bottom of the 8th.
Second baseman, number 12, Justin Graham.
Second hit of the afternoon for Tadlock as the Pilots head to the top of the order. Justin Graham, 1 for 3, comes back to the plate. Has come across to score twice for the Pilots here today. Pilots just looking to tack on a couple more insurance runs as they lead 6-1 in this one. It's the 11th hit of the afternoon for the Pilots, as Parker Tadlock is going to advance. Not sure if that was a wild pitch or not, but Zach Miller couldn't handle it, and it escapes his glove and goes to the backstop. And Tadlock moves to second. Pilots were able to tack on 16 hits yesterday in the 10-1 win, so the bats have been hot now in the past 2 games. As we saw them go cold here at Colburn Park when Glens Falls came to town in an 8-2 defeat. But it's good to see the bats get going for the Pilots here today and extend that streak from yesterday. As Graham hits one at opposite field, good hit for him as Tadlock is going to hold up at third. The speedy Tadlock held up by Matt Colbert there at third. So there's runner at the corners with one gone now after the single for Justin Graham as he picks up his second hit of the afternoon.
The shortstop, number 22, Xavier Warren.
Xavier Warren looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He was walked as he was able to reach for the first time in this game. Tadlock over in third after the Graham single. Warren hits one down to the third baseman Hall, and now he's coming home as Tadlock, and he's going to reach. Heads up running by Parker Tadlock, and the speedster from Georgetown, Texas, comes across to score, and the Pilots extend their lead to 7-1 now. As Nick Carnevale, the second baseman, trying to be sly there and throw him out at home, but Tadlock is there in plenty of time. Graham was thrown out at second, so there's two gone now after Tadlock was able to come across and score, and it's Jared DeSantolo, the first baseman, who comes back up. DeSantolo, 2 for 4, has picked up an RBI today. Big swing and a miss from him as Warren is down on first after the grounder, and the fielder's choice allowed him to reach. Two gone now for Mark Babco. It's a 0-1 count to DeSantolo. Popped up by DeSantolo. Will it stay fair? It will. And Miller is able to make the catch. So the Pilots strand one, but get one more. 3 more outs for the Pilots here as they lead 7-1. We head to the top of the 9th. Last go for the Red Wings when we come back to Colburn Park.
John Tyler now pitching for the Newark.
Last go here for the Red Wings as we head to the top of the ninth. It'll be the bottom of the order for the Red Wings. Center fielder Mike Piscors, who will lead things off for the Red Wings as they're down 7-1 in this one. It's the right-hander John Tyler who takes over on the mound now for the Pilots from Santa Clarita, California. The right-hander from Los Angeles plays for the Los Angeles Mission. He's ready to go and tosses in strike one to get us going as the Pilots look to move to 4-9 on the year. Geneva would fall to 7-8, below 500 for the first time this year if they cannot rally in this one. Tyler delivers one in the dirt, and so the count goes to 1-1 on Piscors. Piscors 1 for 3 on the afternoon. One misses inside for ball 2. As Tyler ready to go on the mound again. One catches the inside part of the plate, and it moves the count to 2-2 on Piscors as Tyler looks to retire the leadoff man here in the top of the ninth. Pilots have recorded 12 hits in this one. Red Wings have 9. 3 errors apiece for both sides. Big swing and a miss from Piscors, and Tyler gets a leadoff strikeout here in the top of the ninth. As Piscors swings at air there. Second strikeout of the day for Mike Piscors. Red Wings head to the top of the order. It's Brian Knapp, the leadoff man. He's 1 for 4. Picked up a hit, his third at-bat today. Tyler delivers strike one on the outside part of the plate. We saw John Tyler back in the Adirondack win last Thursday. As he throws ball 1 in the dirt there. And so the count is 1-1 to Brian Knapp. Swing and a miss from Knapp at the off-spinner. Gets himself ahead in the count 1-2 with 1 gone at the top of the ninth. Tyler has pitched 2 games, only 2 innings of work for him. He's only given up 1 earned run. Off speeders outside, and it pushes the count even at 2-2. Tyler only given up 1 hit in those 2 innings, 6 strikeouts for him. As he's up 7-1 in this one. Off speeder in there on the outside part of the plate. 2 strikeouts for John Tyler now, and the Red Wings are down to their final out as they trail 7-1 in this one. And then 7:05, which will be regular time, will be the second game. It'll be the Elmira Pioneers traveling here to Colburn Park as the Pilots get the day off tomorrow as they try to close out the win here. They're up 7-1 as Tyler tries to get the last out of this game here. Off-speeder misses inside for ball 2. And so it's a 2-0 count to the third baseman, Jesse Hall, who's 0 for 3. He was able to reach his last time on a walk. He has a pair of strikeouts to his name as well. Tyler misses inside on the fastball, and so it's a 3-0 count. And we mentioned Red Wings have not been cold to the plate by any means. They have 9 hits in this one, just haven't been able to bring the runners home. There's only been 1 that's been able to cross. It was back in the top of the 6th for Geneva. Tyler misses with 4 straight balls, and so he walks 1 here with 2 gone as Hall is able to reach. Second time he's been walked here tonight.
Zach Miller.
Catcher Zach Miller back at the plate, 1 for 4. As the Red Wings still on their final out here. Fairly quick game here at Colburn Park today. Zach Miller grounds 1 down to Warren. Warren, the play over to second, and that'll do it. Pilots pick up the win, their 4th of the year. Back-to-back wins for them. They move to 4-9. Geneva falls to 7-8. And a big win for the Pilots here today as they try to work themselves back into the Western Division race. Ryan Marketel picks up the win on the mound, and the Pilots win 7-1 over the Geneva Red Wings. As we mentioned, a doubleheader here at Colburn Park. We hope to see you here. But if you can't make it, join us right here on NewarkPilots.tv. As I'm Dan Cooter saying so long. It's a 7-1 win for the Pilots. We'll see you next time from here at Colburn Park.